Welcome back, YouTube. Welcome to the sixth edition of the Home Theater Hub. I am here by myself tonight. My co-host had some prior engagements. Mr. Ike, you'll definitely be missed. But we do got two other guests with us tonight. And I'm running the board and trying to do the show all by myself. So please be patient. I got to figure all this stuff out myself. But no big deal. We'll get it worked through. We got Mr. Jonathan. How are you, sir?
Doing well, man. How about yourself?
Very well, very well. Those of you that watched last week's show, Jonathan was on, and he did a brief theater tour, and I thought that, you know, with the caliber of his equipment, and with the amount of equipment and time that was spent in that room, that he definitely deserved another segment on today's show. So, we're glad to have you back, Jonathan. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Very good. And then we got Mr. Joseph. How are you, sir?
I'm doing very well. Thank you for having me on today. This is awesome.
Awesome sauce, man. Appreciate you joining. Those of you that don't know Joseph, he's got a couple different aliases, right? I don't know what they're looking for him in Canada, what other aliases he has, but we call him Kanga. We know him from the the Daily Hi-Fi After Show. As mentioned, we met him there a long time ago, and that's where a lot of these friendships have joined, as I mentioned, in just about all of our shows. So if you guys haven't subscribed to the Daily Hi-Fi, please make sure you go out and subscribe to their channel. But Joseph also is recently started a new business path in the audio industry a little bit. And what's that called, Joseph? Siphonics?
Siphonics. Siphonics Audio officially. I had a previous name that was a little bit humorous, and I decided to change that up. It was a little bit longer, and I wanted to roll with something that was authentic and originally created by me. So it's a word that I made up, and so now that is the word and name that I go by now, Siphonics Audio.
Very good, very good. And what is some of the things that Siphonics Audio actually does?
Primarily at this point, my successes have come from photography work, which has granted me a lot of access and recognition with Canadian magazines such as PMA Magazine, which some people may or may not know is the host of the Toronto and Montreal Audio Fests, which I have photographed for the last 3 years consecutively. So the photography work and exposure at also Expona 2023, which I was grateful to be invited to, has awarded me the ability to now write reports and show reports for PMA Magazine. So I have articles that are now published in that magazine.
That is very awesome, man. Congratulations on that. And those of you that haven't seen some of his work, he has posted a lot. I won't say a lot, but he has posted some of his photos on his Facebook page, and that's also Siphonics Audio on your Facebook page, correct?
Yes, as well as YouTube and Instagram accounts. So I like to say if you don't have all three, then you're missing part of the picture because they kind of work in cohesion. They need to, bits and pieces of the content will be posted or published to either one, whichever one happens to be convenient. And to have all three means to get every piece of that puzzle.
Yeah, definitely. That's something that I got to work on too. I don't even use Instagram, so that's something that I've I guess pushed back on. I try to stay off of social media as much as I can, other than YouTube and Facebook. But I haven't adopted the Instagram yet, so it's something I need to allow into my life, I guess.
Yeah, I hear you.
So, Jonathan, how was your week?
It was good, man. Just didn't really do much with the home theater or anything except talk to you about if I'm going to expand my Kaleidoscape setup or not. And that's about it. Other than that, it's just been work, man.
Been work. Yeah, I understand that. I've been pretty busy with work too. I actually have off tomorrow. Had to take off tomorrow because I need to do some stuff in my wife's office that I need to take care of. So I'll be off until Tuesday. So you have off for the holiday also through the weekend and the holiday.
No, I have Monday off, but that's it. So
I see. Yeah,
yeah,
the
the
type of
retail.
business that you're in,
Yeah,
it never closes, right?
exactly. We get 3 days a year we're closed. So yeah,
Yeah, I
Monday.
understand. How about you, Joseph? You got off for the rest of the week?
Yes, work has actually awarded me a couple of weeks off now. I'm off till January the 2nd, which is pretty awesome. I tell people that when they say, "Oh, you should get some rest and relax," I say there's no such thing. It just means I have more time to do audio work.
Understand. So, being that we're talking about the holidays and we're looking at Christmas right around the corner. However, you would say that you want to celebrate Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, Christmas. What are some of your what are some things on your guys' wish list that you sat on Santa's lap and whispered in his ear that you wanted this that you wanted this year? Jonathan, you have anything? I know you just mentioned expanding the Kaleidoscape.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like I'm really bad at impulse control, so usually by the time I think of something, I order it. So there's not like a whole lot left for the end of the year for Santa. Um, but no, I want to add Kaleidoscape to another zone, and then I just got a new TV for the living room. And that's working out well. So there's not like a whole lot I need. I may kind of reconfigure the living room and put a newer AVR in for that and add some Atmos and some. Well, I already have some ceiling speakers. It's just not really set up correctly. So put in some rears at the base lever and use those for more Atmos, the ones that are up in the ceiling. That's kind of it. Other than that, it's all kind of crazy stuff that I want that you have changed your wind pattern and now talk me out of. Like when I start talking about, Mad VR, and you're like, you don't need that, man. You don't even use your theater. What do you need that for? You all making sense.
Hey,
Not what I call you for, Don.
I'm I guess I'm not a Mad VR dealer, so no, I'm just playing.
No, you weren't yelling at me to get Lumigen instead.
Yeah, no. Look, it's there are people that say that the new update does a very good job. For the JVC that you have the NZ8, right? I have a video processor that's going to go between mine, but that was when I planned this and I bought all this equipment. I actually had an NX7, and that tone mapping ordeal wasn't out yet, right? So when I started putting this whole plan together, and I even bought a Panamorph lens,
I remember that.
so I have the $6,000 lens. Just I don't know if I'm going to use it or not, right? Now that I have a 2200 lumen projector in a 21 and a half foot room, am I really going to need the extra light power for that? It's something I'll put it in front of it to see if it enhances the picture, and if not, and I bought the big one too, not the one just specifically for the JVC. I bought the one that could be interchangeable just in case I ever wanted to do a higher end projector like a Barco or something like that.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want to have to go and buy another one all over again. So I know they have one specifically made for the JVC and for the Sony. So how about you, Joseph? What do you got on your wish list?
My there's a lot of stuff on my wish list. My recent exposure to a lot of different brands and reps and engineers, which is really who I try to reach out to and find out what these people I call clients, like what they're needing in media and photography, and if they're going to be at shows. And Now that I've seen a little bit behind the curtains, there's a lot of stuff that I want I can't even say. So
Oh,
2024 is going to have to happen first before I can say it.
I see.
Um, it's like getting to visit Santa's workshop and going, "Ooh, what about that?" And he's like, "No, not yet."
Yeah.
So in my journey now, I mean, my room has come a long way in a year. I put a lot of effort in selecting a couple of things, made some really good relationships with reps here in Ontario, Canada. I have great relations with people in the US, but distributors in the US are not so easily, like, they can't send across the border as easy as my locals. So, as much as I appreciate all the US brands and clients and customers and all that, I have to do and work with locals. So, in that, the Canadian reps that I've met, I've now moved to this idea of picking up something from Musical Fidelity. Very strong brand, great product, not represented as much as I would think or have seen in the past, but they are available through a local network. And I've been looking at buying monoblock amps for my sound system. The last thing in the chain that I would like to have dialed in as best as I can get. So a pair of monoblocks would be really nice, Santa, please.
Now, is that brand of monoblocks, is that under NDA also, or is that, you know, something that you can?
The model that I'm looking at, no, they are available. So the Musical Fidelity series of products starts, I think it's the M3 line at their lowest end, which has like a streamer and a DAC and a CD player and things like that. And then as you move up, like the 5, 6, and there's an 8 line, they get a little bit more intricate. There's other DACs that are in the lines, and then 6, you have multi-channel amps. M8 level is where the monoblocks are. So they are the M8S 700Ms. So they're about 700 watts, 1300 into 4 ohm monoblocks. There is a 500S, I think, or 500M, which is a stereo model. But if I can get monoblocks, why not?
Heck yeah, feed them all the power that they can get, right? So
Yes.
what are you feeding those monoblocks into? Just to give a quick. I know we're gonna take a look at your system, but
Oh, yeah. So
what are you
the
feeding those into?
chain, sorry. So the chain of source to speakers in my system now is I just got a Weem Pro Plus because my audio peers just would not stop showing it to me. So they're influencers, and I bought one.
Right.
The truth is, I got rid of a laptop that I was using as a streamer, and I needed something else to replace the laptop to get the signal. So now it's Weem Pro Plus or a CD11 Tribute from Rotel. Um, that goes well with my room. As some people may know, the room is a dedicated music space created and themed in tribute to my mom, who passed away in February 2023. So this whole year has been about finishing the room and respecting what she would have loved. It's all in white decor. And to have the CD11 Tribute, which is a tribute to Ken Nishiwata, that sort of solidifies everything because Mom and I were from the CD era. I've moved back to listening to CDs very often. So Weem Pro Plus, CD11 into a Rotel preamp, which is the 1590 Mark II. The Mark II, they put Texas Instrument DACs in instead of the AKM DACs, and I'm sure we're all fairly caught up with what happened to AKM over the last few years. So from the preamp down, then that is going into a 5-channel Rotel multi-channel power amp, which doesn't make sense because it's 2-channel stereo. But what I've done is split the RCAs with Y splitters into 2 of the amp channels, and the speakers that I'm running are the Arundel 1723 THX towers, and they're bi-amplified from 2 of the channels in the 5-channel amp, which is a little bit of a mess. So I'm looking forward to having monoblocks or a proper stereo amp fill in that gap right now. Yeah. It's a
Yeah.
nice system. It sounds great. It's worked out well to this point, but I can see that there are some slight issues with bi-amping that way.
I see. Yeah, yeah. We'll take a deeper dive into your theater. Jonathan, are you able to give us a tour of your theater again?
If you give me a couple minutes, I do have to just head over because, as you pointed out last week, it's in a different building. So
Yeah, not a problem. So if you could go
I
ahead
can
and
hang.
get that, and I can talk to Mr. Joseph here
Yeah, give me
about.
like 5 minutes.
All right, sounds good. Let's see here.
Nice theater tours are coming up in the popularity. I've seen a number of channels. Youthman, as we know, has done a lot of amazing home theater tours, and seen a lot of channels doing that. Now we get to see how people have resolved theater sort of solutions and things that they have in their space. It's really nice to see that how it's done part.
Right, exactly. Yeah, no, it's definitely given me inspiration, and that's part of the reason why Ike and I wanted to do this podcast is because that's some of the most enjoyment that I get out of watching all the videos is just watching people's design and their thoughts on their twists and everything, as far as what they're able to do. And I like watching the builds too because there's 4 or 5 different ways to build something. You know what I mean? You can if I'm putting together a corner somehow, I can glue it and brag nail it. If I can dovetail it. I can do, so it's just multiple options on doing everything. So just being able to see other people and what they're able to accomplish, and just something different than I would do. Like I I didn't want to use metal for
Mm-hmm.
my soffit that I built. I wanted to use wood because I thought, well, it's going to vibrate, you know. But once you get that piece of drywall on there, I mean, it's like, super sturdy. I learned that very quickly when I was trying to rip it down, rip drywall down from a soffit. So it's definitely something that, you know, just looking at other people's ways have opened my eyes, and that's what I've liked to look at, and different people's design elements on the way that they function in their theater. So while Jonathan's getting that set up, he's got to go to his separate building outside, and I'm hoping it will let him connect while we're doing this because I was having some connecting issues. But while he's doing that, give us a little bit of backstory about how you got into audio, how you were able to move up to the audio business that you're running right now.
Where my journey started, where it's ended. It's quite interesting, and it echoes what I said earlier about staying local. As some people may know, the NRC, which is the National Research Council, is a a name or a location synonymous with audio, and we are fortunate, or I am fortunate here in Southern Ontario, to have brands like Paradigm and PSB and a number of others, Bryston, and there are companies in Southern Ontario that benefited from the NRC as a research lab with anechoic chambers, with technology development. And this area still is quite popular with design companies and technology companies. ELAC has a lab here that I know of. PS Audio design team is from Toronto area. So that being the case, and growing up in Toronto, I was exposed to Bryston and Paradigm through a family friend, and they had a simple 2-channel system, Bryston 3B with Paradigm speakers, preamp, and I was welcomed in by this family friend and then shown to the local stores, brick and mortar stores, Italian family. I still call them my audio godfathers because they were there for me for my first system and their Italian heritage, and the way they just the way that they are welcoming. So they sold me my first system, and it was just a snowball effect from there. Um, Now, while my first experience was Paradigm, and they are made locally, I had always had this idea and support and interest because they were close by, they're Canadian, they're easy to get, and eventually it worked for them. So I got a job with Paradigm building their amplifiers. So as people may know, Paradigm and Anthem and Martin Logan are kind of under the same umbrella, but the Paradigm speakers and Anthem products are made in the same building, as well as some of the Martin Logan products or models. So Anthem is under the same roof, and I ended up building the amplifiers for 2 years. That was an incredible experience to know what it takes to manufacture, what the costs are, what the QC process is, what the chain of events that has to take place in order to make good quality product. You can see it in other brands. I recognized it in other companies, other qualities. So I was able to open my mind to where else can this hobby go? How much further can I take this? So after that experience, I started my media side. I thought, if I, instead of being focused on one goal or one familiar brand, and I share my interest and insights and vision, I can do the same kind of media work or advertising and explore many other brands. So that's why I started at the time it was Audio Systems Specialist, which is an acronym that I thought was funny, but maybe it's not so funny.
Yeah.
Decided to change that name to represent what I felt was more valued, which is authenticity, transparency, honesty, the things that even some other channel creators have talked about, having more truth in the data, more truth in the specs. You don't want companies inflating numbers in order to sell because you end up being disappointed or you realize the truth later. And I didn't think that that was a good way to present as a creator.
Right.
So I changed the name and everything just kind of grew from there. So 2020, we didn't have shows. Everybody knows the global flu took over. So 2022, 23, maybe 2021, there was a show. So Toronto, Montreal, just taking photos, doing media, being part of the Daily Hi-Fi and the Hi-Fi Summit, that kind of process. I met all of you guys backstage, and over those periods of time, I started developing this interest of being connected with manufacturers, connected with engineers, connected with brands in a different way, and then getting into the media side of what they're interested in, what they need in terms of translating to media, photography work, media work, video work. And it's paid off. I mean, the local magazine, the shops, I've been invited to events, backstage, all that kind of stuff. So the media turned into show reports and writing for magazines and things like that. To the point where for a while I was experimenting with AI imagery.
Mm-hmm.
So I had purchased a renderer, and because I've seen how speakers are made, the components fit together, studied enough about acoustics to know where things are supposed to be, I trained the AI image generator to make images that closely represent what real speakers look like, to the point where some people thought they were real. They thought they were my photos of real speakers, but they are just renders of speakers. So those images also got published in a number of magazines online.
Yeah, that's fantastic, man, that you've been able to go through this journey. You know, I was a huge fan of yours, you know, just speaking to you in the after show, just the vast amount of knowledge that you have, you know, from the ground up, basically, you know, because that's what you did. You built stuff from the ground up for one of the premier, you know, speaker companies in the world, Paradigm, right?
Yeah.
So, you know,
There's
just
some of their flagship stuff. Yeah.
yeah. So I mean, it's, you know, it was always great chatting with you, and you know, just picking your brain about stuff because, you know, I know a little bit about everything, but you know, I don't know a lot, right? So it's always fun to pick the brain of people that that definitely have hands-on experience
Right.
stuff like that you were involved in and still so. I'm having difficulties getting Jonathan back in, and Paul was actually supposed to come in this stream too. So
Yep.
I'm afraid that if I switch you over, that we're probably going to lose you too. So I don't know what's going on with this stream, but
There's all I find that we can always find a way around these things. It's only technical, and it's not quite that much of a puzzle. So I'm sure we'll make it work.
yeah. So I'm diligently trying to get Jonathan back to join and try to get Paul to join in also, because he was wanting to jump on. He definitely was excited to hear that you and Jonathan both were coming back on today. I don't know if you've kept in touch with Paul a whole lot, but I know he was excited to get you back on. So what I might do is I may just end this live here and bring everybody back on and just go live. That way we can just take a 5-minute break and get everybody back in. So I think that's what I'm going to do. Sorry for the technical difficulties, but we're going to just end the live for a moment. But please come back to the channel, because actually it wasn't streaming to Ike's channel either. So I want to get it streaming to his channel, and then also bring everybody back on. So please be patient. Give us 5 minutes and we'll come back on. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.